President Bola Tinubu has transmitted the 2026 budget proposal of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to the Senate for consideration. The president also requested Senate approval for several key federal appointments, including nominations to major regulatory institutions. The communication was read on the floor of the Senate during Tuesday's plenary by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. National Assembly correspondent Tijesu Adeoye has more.
President Bola Tinubu has formally transmitted the 2026 budget proposal of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to the Senate for legislative consideration. The communication read during plenary by Senate President Godswill Akpabio explained that the proposal was prepared in line with statutory provisions guiding the administration of the FCTA and aligned with the federal government's fiscal and developmental priorities.
In addition, the budget proposal takes into consideration the 2025-2028 Economic Recovery Growth Plan, as well as key assumptions of the 2026 Appropriation Act of the federal government.
Following its presentation, the Senate referred the proposal to the Committee on Rules on Business for further legislative processing and scheduling. In a separate correspondence, the President also sought accelerated Senate approval for 8 nominees across 4 federal institutions. Among them is tax policy expert Taiwo Oyedele, whose nomination was forwarded for expedited consideration and referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Nomination of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. While I hope that this request will receive expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Senate President also conveyed the President's nomination of May Nasara Ilu as Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Anti-Doping Center for an initial 4-year tenure. President Tinubu also submitted nominations for the confirmation of commissioners of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, including former Rivers lawmaker Magnus Abe as chairman, alongside Josie Yaro and Sunday Adebayo as non-executive commissioners. The nominations have been referred to the relevant Senate committees for further legislative scrutiny. Meanwhile, plenary was briefly adjourned in honor of the late Senator Barinada Mpigi, who represented Rivers South-East Senatorial District, in keeping with the National Assembly's tradition of observing departed members. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.